Imagine wandering alone in a deep, dark jungle, with a lamp in your hands and wearing your trusty backpack. You can hear the crickets making noise, leaves rustling, some birds chirping, and the wind whispering. When suddenly, you hear an unfamiliar noise in the background. An eerie sound fills your ears, and the next thing you know is whether you should fight or flee. Without knowledge of who or what you think you're facing, you're just left with the response to escape. Anxious of what happened, you are convinced to never go back to that dreadful place. 10th of February 1970, Hao Nia, province of South Vietnam. A psychological warfare called Operation Wandering Souls is a tactic made by the US forces to scare or trick the Viet Cong in the Vietnamese War. The US used this ghost superstition of Vietnamese people for their advantage. Vietnamese pay their respects to these departed souls during a special holiday dedicated to visiting the locations of their passing. This tradition holds for the deceased to find peace and must be laid rest in their homeland. Failing to do so means the departed spirit will roam in anguish and torment. The propaganda was simple in execution. It involves playing eerie and ghostly sounds over loudspeakers in an attempt to exploit the cultural and superstitious beliefs of the Viet Cong. These sounds were meant to mimic the restless and tormented spirits of fallen soldiers and were intended to create fear and uncertainty among the Viet Cong. Let me show you what the sound is trying to say.
Ba đang về với tôi đã về với mình đây, nhưng tôi còn đau đớn hàng nữa. Tôi đã chết rồi má con đây ơi. Tôi hẳn không biết chừng nào. Các bạn của tôi phải về để nói cho các bạn biết rằng tôi đã chết.
The voice clips was also accompanied by wailing, sobbing, and banging gongs, adding up the eeriness of the audio. The result of the propaganda was somewhat effective, but in a different way. In some cases, they used helicopters as the main source of the sound, making it obvious and even an elementary student could guess that it's fake. So the Viet Cong would fire at the helicopter in an exchange of compromising their hidden location. Another thing is that the US added the sound of a tiger's growl, which somehow worked as it terrified 150 Viet Cong, causing them to abandon their positions. That's it for today's video. I hope you like it. Goodbye.